Hello and welcome to another special video podcast of AzureTracks. I'm Andrew Lowes and thank you for joining me. So today you can see on the screen here, I wanted to run through a bit of my demo setup for you, and to do that I just wanted to do kind of a start to finish. So we're going to start with Cloud Shell. It's kind of my favorite tool, to be honest. It makes everything really easy. So what I've done is I've prepped a little bit of my code from an article I published earlier on AzureTracks.com. And I'm actually going to use the exact same code, and we're going to build out a resource group. So we're going to call it RG Demo Build 44. And I just kind of wanted to show everybody how fast this is to do. So we've already created now the resource group, and we're going to create a storage account. We're going to use standard storage in West US, and we're going to use V2 storage as the kind. So it's just very straightforward, kind of a basic storage. We're going to create, after that completes, we'll do a virtual network. So we'll create a VNet. And we're putting everything inside the resource group, RG Demo Build 44. So it just takes a moment, and as you can see, there's the storage finished now. So we'll come back, create our virtual network, and kind of one of the cool things here is it's just so fast. So now we're going to create a VM. So here I'm going to take a bit of a moment to kind of highlight a couple things for you. So we're going to call it Win Demo Build 44 VM1. You have to watch out for the number of characters here. So you can't exceed, I believe it's 15 characters for your VM name. But I like kind of English names so that when I look at it tomorrow, I know what it was I was doing with that VM. The other thing is you have to specify the image, and you just have to look up the image names from the Azure docs. It's actually quite straightforward. And then you have to use an admin username. Of course, I'll go very high-tech fake user test one. And then when we execute this, you're going to see it's going to do a bit of a test and make sure it's valid. Now it asks us for a password. So you have to enter that admin password twice. Certainly, make sure you're making a note of that. And it's actually pretty quick. We'll probably do a little bit of a time lapse here. And sometimes this can take a couple of minutes to complete for creating a VM. So we'll be right back. So here's a good example of how things go when I'm doing these demos with you here. So I actually talked about how I needed to be careful not to exceed 15 characters. And guess what? I was busy calling it a nice long name, and I exceeded it by 1 or 2 characters. So I've actually removed the word build, and now we're under 15 characters. So it should be happy. And unfortunately, we have to start this process again. So here we go. Now we're going to attempt to create the VM again, and we'll use the magic powers of cutting and time lapse here, and we'll jump forward to when this demo VM completes. Okay, so here you can see that we've actually been able to create that VM properly now. And with our Windows VM created, we're actually going to also create the Ubuntu one. I think we're going to use a Debian image here today. That's what I've got in my text now. this should go pretty smooth for me here because I already have storage and everything mapped. But if you don't have storage mapped through your CLI interface, it will actually pop up and ask you to pick your storage location and walk you through creating a storage account for your Azure subscription with your CLI. And it will actually store those SSH keys there. And of course, we used the no wait flag, so it built that VM kind of record time. So if we jump in and we head to our resource group, we will be able to see right in here, we have all these things that we just built. There's the Ubuntu VM. There's the matching disk for it. We've got, of course, the different IPs, and these VMs are running because when it creates them, it does power them on, right? So we have our Windows Server 2019 VM, and we'll also have all of the associated NICs and public IPs and NSGs for each of the resources that we built. So we can go through and we can do a delete and we can clean things up like that. Or once we're done, we can actually just use CLI to clean it up again. Now you want to be pretty careful here because if you delete the wrong resource group, you just have to be careful, right? So just like that, we're done. We create 2 virtual machines, a storage account, a VNet, and we had one Debian and one server, Windows Server 2019. Very easy, very fast to create. Then we can remote into those machines, connect, effect any changes we need to configure, put a piece of software on them, do some testing, and it's easy to tear it back down again. So I just wanted to kind of run through in a little bit of a visual format for you how easy it is to really use those resources. So thanks again for joining me. Check out my YouTube channel. If you're watching this on one of the other feeds, you can find me at AzureTracks. You can also check out my blog and Twitter and everything. We're all reachable, AzureTracks and AzureTracks.com. Thanks again, and hope you have a fantastic day.